Turning now to our other top story, mediators from the US, Qatar and Egypt are meeting with a Hamas delegation in Cairo for talks aimed at reaching a ceasefire in Gaza. Israel says it will send their delegation as well, but only if it sees positive movement during the talks. The talks are taking place as Israel threatens to launch an offensive on the city of Rafah to pursue Hamas militants that it holds responsible for the October 7th terror attacks. Some 1.5 million Palestinians are taking refuge in the southern city. The UN and the US have warned against the operation. Now, the truce proposal seeks to halt fighting and exchange hostages for Palestinian prisoners. Well, since the October 7th attacks, the relatives of hostages kidnapped by Hamas have been fighting to keep the focus on getting their loved ones home.
For months, Prime Minister Netanyahu's government has been under immense pressure to bring the hostages back. Little is known about the fate of the around 130 hostages still held in Gaza. The number includes both civilians and soldiers. 2 young children among them. But dozens of hostages are presumed to be dead. At the end of April, Hamas released videos of 2 hostages. One of them was Keith Siegel.
Seeing my father today only makes clearer to all of us that we must reach a deal as soon as possible and bring everyone home. I demand that the leaders of this country watch this video and see our father crying out for help.
An earlier ceasefire in November last year saw 105 hostages return home, mainly women, children and dual nationals, including 30 Thai farmers, during a week-long pause in fighting. There were hopes that the truce would hold and all hostages would be released, but both sides accused the other of breaking the terms and fighting resumed on December 1st. For the families enduring months of hope and heartbreak, all eyes are on the current talks, many desperately hoping for a truce that would bring back their loved ones.
We can cross now to correspondent Tania Krämer in Jerusalem. Tania, hi there. Tell us, what is the latest on the ceasefire and hostage negotiations?
Well, there is a sense that, the talks are at a critical stage right now. And that comes maybe also because throughout the day there have been reports in mainly the Arab media that there is some kind of, that the deal would be closed. But of course, you have to take those reports with a grain of salt. There's nothing official yet. We understand that the Hamas delegation is now in Cairo again with the mediators from Egypt, Qatar, and also the United States. And Israel has said, or some officials here have said, that they're still waiting for the official response by Hamas to that proposal that has been actually going on all week. And such a proposal could include the release of 33 hostages against a certain number of Palestinian prisoners held in Israeli prisoners, and that would be done within 4 to 6 weeks of a temporary ceasefire. Another proposal also says that could then go into a second and a third phase, but we have no official confirmation of those proposals yet. And of course, at the moment, we just have to wait and see how close both sides actually are.
It's a critical phase, as you say, Tania. Now, we have seen many various attempts to reach a deal over the last 6 months. Is this time any different?
Well, there has been even more pressure, especially by the United States, but also this sense of urgency. And we're seeing tonight, again, it's Saturday night, like in many a month in the past month. And we've just seen that also in the report. Tens of thousands of Israelis are out in the streets calling for such a deal, calling also for elections, but also for the civilian population in Gaza. They are enduring now 7 months of war. They want to see a ceasefire. Now, in Israel, this phase now has been described as a sort of last opportunity. There's always, they say there's a choice between either a deal or a ground operation in Rafah. And at this stage, it's still really unclear. There's some of the major sticking points, such as what the Hamas demands concern the full withdrawal of Israeli forces from the Gaza Strip, as well as a permanent end to the war. And there has been some Israeli senior official that was quoted today when all these reports emerged saying that the deal would certainly not include the permanent ending of the war. So we have to wait and see. It's not done until it's done.
For more on this, let's cross to German-Egyptian journalist Karim El-Gawhary in Cairo. Karim, thank you for your time. As I understand, Egyptian media are hinting at a breakthrough in the ceasefire talks. Tell us, what are you hearing?
Yeah, they are positive about what's happening right now. They are meeting since this morning, Saturday morning. And also there were positive signs from the Hamas delegation. There's a spokesperson of Hamas, Osama Hamdan, who said that they see positive steps, that Hamas came to Cairo with a positive spirit, but also saying that it still has to write, meaning that Hamas sees still things that have to be negotiated. We have also the head of the CIA, William Burns, since Friday in Cairo, who is not in Cairo, is the Israeli delegation, who says that they're only coming if there's a positive answer from Hamas. So everything seems to be opening, but the negotiation seems to be pretty serious. I think one of the main sticking points right now is that, or the main contradictions, let better say, is that Hamas is demanding some kind of guarantees for a permanent ceasefire, that this war will be over and that the Israeli forces will withdraw from the Gaza strips, maybe also guarantees from the US, which they don't have to get from the Israelis. That obviously contradicts the Israeli war objective to destroy Hamas, and also what Israel, what Netanyahu is saying, that in any case there will be a Rafah offensive. So it's progress, but it's difficult to see how they will overcome these very basic contradictions.
OK, so thank you for outlining that sticking point there. There have been many various attempts to reach an agreement in the last 6 months. If both sides can't come to an agreement and get over these sticking points, what will it mean for the war if the proposal is rejected?
Well, what we experience right now is some kind of blame game already going on in case there won't be an agreement. Hamas is clearly putting fingers at Israel, saying it's Netanyahu who's blocking the ceasefire negotiations, also because a ceasefire would endanger his own political survival. On the other hand, for example, US Secretary of State Blinken said, between the people of Gaza and the ceasefire, the only thing that stands in between that is today Hamas. So blame game is going on, the finger pointing is going on for the case that these negotiations will lead to nowhere.
Appreciate your insights there. That was German-Egyptian journalist Karim El-Gawhary in Cairo. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.